Denver, Colorado is so much more than just the famous mile-high city. Perched at a lofty 1 mile above sea level, this vibrant metropolis invites visitors to experience a range of exhilarating outdoor activities set against the refreshing backdrop of the Rocky Mountains. Picture yourself hiking along scenic trails, climbing rugged cliffs, or skiing down the slopes in iconic destinations like Aspen and Breckenridge. Add to that the allure of enticing local cuisine and a dynamic urban scene that basks in over 300 days of sunshine each year. It's no wonder Denver captures the hearts of newcomers. Downtown Denver is an inviting, walkable space, packed with attractions, including world-class art museums, sprawling botanical gardens, and bustling sports stadiums. As night falls, the city transforms, with a lively nightlife full of chic cocktail bars and dance floors that pulse with energy. Denver's community is richly diverse and colorful, with a thriving Latin and Hispanic presence that seamlessly intertwines with the local culture, bringing vibrancy to the city's social fabric. But beneath Denver's bright allure lies a side not often visible to tourists or new residents. This mile-high city faces its own set of serious challenges, from a rising homelessness crisis to deepening inequalities, issues that demand a closer look.
Wild video of what Aurora police say are teenagers.
In 2024, Denver's homeless population reached an all-time high, with nearly 10,000 individuals without permanent housing. This includes more than 3,000 families who now face the harsh reality of living on the streets or in temporary shelters. The situation has been exacerbated by a sharp rise in property prices, making it even more difficult for many to find affordable housing. With the average home price soaring to $575,200, an ever-increasing number of locals are struggling to secure a stable place to live. For low-income earners or those who have recently lost their jobs, the dream of affordable housing has become an unreachable luxury. Small tents line sidewalks and public parks, creating a stark contrast against the polished image of Denver's downtown. At night, the city's glittering lights cast shadows over the tougher reality faced in its darker corners, where the homeless community fights against freezing temperatures, insecurity, and the daunting uncertainty of the future. While the city government has launched several support programs, these efforts, though well-intentioned, often fall short of providing the resources needed to address the problem in full. Denver's nightlife shimmers with energy, yet beneath the city's lively bars and clubs lies a hidden struggle with the underground sex industry. Despite ongoing legal efforts to curb prostitution-related crime, the reality remains skewed, where far more women than men are apprehended, often facing disproportionately harsher punishments. A recent study by Denver's Anti-Human Trafficking Lab highlights this gender disparity, revealing that women frequently bear the brunt of severe penalties, while clients, predominantly men, receive minor sanctions. This discrepancy reflects a societal stigma. Female sex workers are stereotyped as criminals or addicts, while their male clients are often dismissed as regular men. In 2024, data reported 0.3 prostitution cases per 1,000 residents in Denver, with the East Colfax neighborhood emerging as a hotspot, accounting for the city's highest incident rate. A total of 176 cases have been reported so far, with an average of 17.8 cases per month, an increase from an average of 7.5 cases per month in 2023 and 6.2 in 2022. While the number of cases has shown some decline in recent months, this shadow industry remains a persistent challenge. Sex workers in Denver are often caught in cycles of human trafficking and exploitation, a tragic loop that can be nearly impossible to break without robust support systems in place. As one of the nation's most prominent destinations for incoming migrants, Denver has experienced an influx since December 2022, particularly from Central and South America, with around 42,000 people arriving in the metro area. Of these, about 1,800 have obtained work permits, while nearly half of the total number has chosen to stay in Denver. The city has allocated between $216 million and $340 million to cover essential services for migrants, from food and clothing to shelter, education, and healthcare. Schools across Metro Denver have absorbed 15,725 migrant students, incurring additional costs of approximately $98 million to $222 million, while uncompensated emergency health care for this population has added another $48 million to the city's budget. However, this wave of migration has brought unforeseen challenges. Denver has seen a rise in criminal activity associated with international gangs, notably the Tren de Aragua, a violent criminal network from Venezuela that has reportedly set up operations in Aurora, a neighboring city. With a firm grip on multiple apartment complexes, the gang's presence has sparked a surge in violent crime, creating a ripple effect in a city that is otherwise known for its safety. Crime statistics reveal an unsettling reality. Denver now experiences an average of 74 criminal incidents per 1,000 residents, and 1 in 13 individuals in the city is likely to become a victim of crime. This rate has placed Denver among the cities with the highest crime rates in Colorado, especially in violent and property crime categories. Local law enforcement, though determined, faces difficulties in addressing crime tied to sophisticated international syndicates. With criminal organizations increasingly taking root, both from within and outside the country, Denver's sense of security is under an escalating threat. The opioid crisis is one of Denver's most pressing issues, impacting nearly every part of the community. Potent opioids like fentanyl and heroin dominate overdose cases, with other drugs also widely abused by those suffering from addiction. These drugs don't just devastate the lives of those who use them. They cast a long, dark shadow over the social fabric of the city, entrapping many people in cycles of dependency and despair. To confront this issue, Denver Health, in coordination with city authorities, has implemented a 5-year plan aimed at mitigating the crisis. However, the battle is steep, as the number of addicts continues to rise, and illicit drugs remain alarmingly accessible. Fatal overdoses have become increasingly common, creating a ripple effect that strains the city's hospitals and emergency services, which are now overwhelmed by patients in need of intensive care. High addiction rates also correlate with a rise in other forms of crime, as many addicts resort to illegal activities to fund their drug habits. The high cost of living in Denver adds yet another layer to the city's social challenges. With expenses running approximately 28% higher than the national average, Denver has become a difficult place to live for those in the lower to middle economic brackets. Everyday expenses are so steep that many residents are compelled to take low-paying jobs or even turn to illegal activities simply to make ends meet. A high unemployment rate compounds these issues, creating a web of social problems that is tough to unravel. As the economic pressures mount, many residents are forced to sacrifice their well-being just to stay afloat. Beyond the financial strain, the dry climate and high altitude can also impact health, making life in Denver feel far less idyllic than it appears from the outside. Amid its natural splendor and urban vibrance, Denver faces profound challenges in balancing quality of life with looming social issues, high crime rates, an intense homelessness crisis, exploitation within the sex industry, and the rise of international gangs create an undercurrent of risk that's hard to ignore. The opioid crisis only deepens these problems, further expanding the list of social difficulties confronting the city. Coupled with high housing costs and a soaring cost of living, many Denver residents find themselves fighting a daily battle just to survive, while local officials grapple with the complex task of finding solutions. As night falls, Denver's skyline tells a different story, a story far removed from the idealized image of life beneath the Rocky Mountains. Behind the gleaming skyscrapers and verdant parks, Denver contends with immense social struggles, determined to emerge as a truly better place for all its residents. With hope for lasting change, the city continues to seek answers to its most entrenched issues, striving for a future where Denver can offer not only beauty, but also security and opportunity for all.